foreign and domestic, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of school board member according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
So help me God.
I, Christopher Mortensen,
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the constitutions and laws of the state of New Mexico, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of school board member according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
So help me God.
I, Charles Long, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Mexico, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of school board member according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Help me God.
Thank you and welcome, new board members. It's going to be an honor working with you guys, and we just appreciate you guys. And it's sometimes a challenging job, but I think that with collaboration and everything that goes along with this, we're going to be doing just fine. So, Judge Silversmith, thank you very much for helping us. We are going to move into our approval of our agenda, and then we'll start our public comment. If you have not signed up for public comment, there are some forms in the back. They're green. If you would like to sign up for public comment, you can fill one out. Wishes of the board on the agenda.
Madam President, motion to approve the agenda. Madam President, a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. We'll go ahead and do roll call.
Mr. Martinson?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Schaaf?
Yes.
Ms. Manuelito?
Yes. First, we have our Honorable Council Delegate, Mr. Edmund Yazzie. Thank you, sir, for coming this evening to our board meeting.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and board members, and also to our guests. Almost said here in the gallery, I thought it was at the Chambers in Window Rock, but at the Rue Elementary. Board members and Madam Chair, and I wanted to commend the band too as well. They did good. I myself have been a big fan of metal music as well, still playing the drums. But it's when it comes to music, it's really good to support our young kids. One day they might be a professional. So anyhow, Madam Chair and board members, I'm going to be headed out to grants. I'm going to be presenting before the council. As you know, there's an issue there that is regarding the golf course. And the reason why I'm talking about the golf course is that I ask for your support, Madam Chair and board members, for Through High. Through High has basketball, volleyball, and music, of course. And there's a couple of students who are very interested in starting up a golf team. And I'm not a great golfer myself. I am there just to support mainly my nephew, who's a heavy advocate for golfing, and he's a 10th grader at Through High. And so he asked his friends, and there's about maybe 5 more others that are very interested in playing. And so I've been in touch with the Mr. Hyatt, the superintendent, been very supportive. I met with the sports director within your school, and he seems pretty supportive as well. So it gives an opportunity for our kids, their self-esteem, you know, to stay out with alcohol and with gang activity, and so and with the education part too, keeping up in their eligibility with the school. And so, you know, we got to give our kids every chance, whatever sports it is, whether it's rodeo, whether it's, you know, basketball, football, and, you know, of course, golf is an upcoming sport. You know, one of these days we might see our kids in one of our schools actually making the big leagues, just like Notre Dame. And now he's coming back and contributing to the nation as well. And not only the nation, but throughout the state of New Mexico through his foundation. So I would like, once again, you know, for your support. I'm willing even to help out the school, you know, helping the kids out, despite the busy schedule that I have. And just for the new board members, I represent the Rue, Smith Lake, Mariana Lake, Pinedale, Church Rock, and Yamato as their council delegate, and this is my 3rd term, and I'm very grateful for that as well too. So, Madam Chair, I leave it at that, and I know I don't know if there's going to be any questions, but I'll, we'll just do a follow-up later, and we'll go from there. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Congratulations to the new board members as well.
Thank you, Mr. Biazzi. Next, we have Shamarie DeGroat.
Thank you. Welcome to the RU. I'm an employee of through middle school now, and I'm excited. I've been there for about 5 weeks. And I have a concern. Mine is concerning Through High School's athletic program. My concern is the coaches, the student athletes, and the parents' relationship. Athletes, their academics is priority. They have practice, they have games, they have traveling, and we have our good old sack lunches that I really like. And dreaming of playing at the next level, college, or possibly becoming a professional athlete. I know quite a few students that want to do this, but how are we helping them academically in athletics? Coaches responsible for the safety and the well-being of the student athlete. Practicing, planning, pre-game, post-game, traveling, waiting for that last student to be picked up. Exactly how many hours from the time they have their first parent meeting to the last practice, the last game, and the last student to get picked up. How many hours do these coaches give our children? I've been a coach's wife for almost 17 years, and I invite parents to talk to me of what it takes for a coach to really give 110%, maybe more. And us parents, we travel miles and miles to get to our kids' game. We wait for that bus to pull up 11 o'clock at night. We take time off from work to support them. And we all take, and we just support our kids, our student athletes. And sorry, I had to write everything down. And the conclusion is the relationship between coaches, student athletes, and parents needs to improve. I really hope the principal is here, the athletic director is here to hear this. We go out to just be disrespectful to one another. But in the long run, we are hurting the student athlete. Parents, we need to support our kids. We need to support our coaches. But the main person that is hurting is the student athlete. And it's not all about winning. How many of you know the mission statement for Gallup McKinley County Schools athletic program? How many have read it? The Gallup McKinley County athletic program is committed to excellence in academics and athletics. We are dedicated to pursuing victory with honor and adhering to the rules and competition and sportsmanship. Coaches, administrators, and student athletes must understand that participation in the athletic program is a privilege. We understand that athletes and activities are an extension of educational settings. These programs provide us all the opportunity to learn important lessons to prepare us for life. These programs provide all the opportunity to learn important lessons to prepare us for life. Parents, coaches, student athletes, do we hear this? We will represent ourselves in our school at all times with dignity and honor. At a game, there's no cheering. You can hear a pin drop. Come on, parents, we need to start cheering for our kids. We need to stop saying, come on, coach, run that, do this, do that. We need to be behind our coach's back. and our athletes. So I'm here speaking on behalf of the student athlete, the coach, and myself as a parent, and the coach's wife. And I will continue to do this, and if I keep coming to board meetings, maybe we can start changing the morale for the athletic program at Theroux High School. To me, I'm an eagle. I'm from Crown Point, born and raised. Mr. Long probably knows me. He probably knows my parents, Jerry and Bessie. So I have a lot of respect for this man here. I'm Kia'ani, Tachini, Tanakbitli, and Twahiglini. And Kia'ani means leader. And I will stand up for my kids, coaches, and parents, and even our administrator back there. But please, parents, let's support our coaches. Let's support the athletic program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Efehat. Next, we have El Ray Nelson.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President, to the school board here, to all our other leaders locally that are represented, to our parents and to the young ones. She'eya all Ray Nelson Yanisha, Tkapan Shlon Kiani Bashishchi, Tanjikin Edashi Chelo, Tachini Edashinele, they basically told it in Asha, Kutal, the Yanisha. I'm probably related to Mr. Long here. Most likely going to be my Che. But I want to first off congratulate our new school board members that just came onto the table today. There's Mr. Schaff, who represents my district in Gallup, Mr. Mortensen here as well, and also Mr. Long, who represents my partner and his family out in Tehachapi, New Mexico. So thank you. Looking forward to working with you. I currently serve as a director for a local nonprofit. I oversee external partnership building and recruitment for Teach for America. We're actually one of 53 regions located all across the United States. And one of the things we continue to work towards is building not only stronger relationships with parents and tribal leaders, but recruiting more of our own, recruiting more local New Mexicans to come back to our communities to be teachers for more than 2 years. So over the last 6 to 8 months now, Teach for America has been actively recruiting more Diné, more Pueblo, more Native teachers to come back to New Mexico, come back to the Four Corners area, and to be in various classrooms. I'm looking forward, on behalf of our organization, of building a stronger relationship with our new superintendent here, Mr. Hyatt. I know we've had conversations previously in the past about the good work that our teachers are doing in classrooms, but also working with the 3 new school board members and bringing you to our TFA classrooms, where we're seeing an improvement not only in test scores among the students, but amazing work that a lot of our teachers are doing all across the region here. Teach for America New Mexico has been in the state for over 15 years now, but our organization has been in existence over 25 years. The packet I just provided you provides more detailed information about the teachers in your schools, the areas that we're providing a service to, some data about around the work that we're doing in terms of our service projects moving forward with students. But particularly I included several letters of support, not only from a great leader, Mr. Val Petit, who's a really close friend of ours of the organization. He's the current governor of Zuni Pueblo, but in addition to the president of Navajo Nation, Mr. Russell Begay, that has also written a strong worded letter of support to New Mexico legislators as we're going through this current budget process now in Santa Fe. But I want to include that with you to share with you that TFA has been working towards strengthening relationships with our tribes locally. For the one reason that a majority of our teachers are educating majority Navajo students on the Navajo Nation, but in addition to that, are working towards having teachers in our local border towns like Gallup and Farmington and Kirtland and what have you. But I'm just here to introduce myself so you see my face, you know who I am, and I'm looking forward to sitting down with you individually with our Executive Director, Mr. Nate Morrison, to talk a little bit more about how we can work together, especially with the pending budget cuts that's coming in for New Mexico towards education. How can our organization work with you to do better in recruitment, to help local scores when it comes to our schools for next year's report card, but in addition to that, keeping teachers here at home and retention. So I'm looking forward to working with y'all and making sure that does happen. So other than that, thank you for your support. I'm looking forward to all of us building a stronger relationship together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Next, we have Salanza Jim Martin.
Good afternoon, school board members, superintendent, and guest relatives. Everyone also knows me as Sunshine. I am here tonight speaking as a parent and only a parent. I wear many hats. So tonight I'm speaking as the mother of 4 children who are in the school district. One graduated, but is a product of the school district. Just as I am proud to be a graduate of Tohatchi High School, and also proud that my children are a part of the school district. I want to bring a concern to you, especially to the new school board elected members. I have been a regular person attending school board meetings since 2012. So you'll see my face a lot. And the reason I took it upon myself as a parent to get here to these school board meetings and try not to miss them is because in 2012, my daughter came home very sad and she was crying because she was told her school was going to be shut down. The few days before her promotion that was planned for that school. So for me, after I researched and I tried to find out what happened with the situation, it was the school board that made that decision with no parent consultation, with no input from Navajo tribal leaders. Our reservation school was going to be shut down, and it infuriated me. So I became very active in attending these school board meetings to make sure I helped to hold you accountable as our elected leaders. Since then, I have witnessed at every meeting what happens among the discussions between school board members, both some of you currently and those in the past. I've observed as an activist, which I am, what we are doing with school district decisions and how that's affecting all of our schools, city schools, and rural county schools. So I feel like I can make a very good, educated decision on how the school board operates and how it affects our schools in the rural communities. I want to tell you right now that I was very outspoken at not supporting the former superintendent because of his actions. And I hope we don't see the same mistakes and the same problems that came from that former superintendent. We had a meeting at Tohatchi where people came in with signs that were very discriminatory towards Navajos. They held signs in that meeting telling us Navajos should form our own school district, and we should let the city schools be their own school district. Blatant discrimination, racism, coming from people who showed up at that meeting, at that school board meeting. I was appalled, but I wasn't surprised because of how things were happening. So I want the school board members, the new ones, to see what we face as Navajo people, as Native Americans. Racism, discrimination is alive and well. And as a person who firmly believes in our human rights, I want to make sure that that has stopped and that doesn't continue. I also wanted to share that through my observations of the school board, I saw many attacks against our Native American school board members. Not only the two that are sitting here, Mr. Kevin Mitchell and Priscilla Manuelito, I also witnessed that happening to former school board member Titus Nez and Sandra Jeff. And it was really sad to see that people were making assumptions based on fear that our Navajo elected leaders would somehow take over a school district and get rid of everyone else that wasn't Native American. It was really a fear-based environment that had been created. And we can't let that happen, especially today. Recently, I was observing some comments that were being exchanged against our president and our other member, Kevin Mitchell. There was some nasty, discriminatory things that were being said about these two individuals. I can't even say them publicly because they're so offensive. But because she's a woman, an outspoken Navajo woman, she's being attacked for speaking up for what she believes in as a woman. Telling her it's not her place as a woman to be speaking as a leader. I also saw attacks against Mr. Mitchell, calling into question his own personal life and his own background. There's no room for intolerance in this school district. We preach that we are a multicultural school district and we respect all the various cultures and ethnicities in this school district, but we cannot accept that kind of intolerance against our school board members or any of our schools that are on the reservation. So that is my position that I wanted to share with you, school board members. I just found these ugly attacks in the last 24 hours, and it's very disheartening. But I hope that it makes you aware of what the current mentality is of some folks out there in our community, and I hope that we do honor the human rights of our whole community, from our Native American, women, LGBTQ, anyone, whatever your background, we should respect that and not have intolerance. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Kat. Next, we have Charlie Long, Sr.
The real one.
Yes, it's Shahadi.
Oh, yeah, this way. Thank you. Yeah. Each one of you, the new board member, out of the old one. She has a way out of the ground. Thank you so much. Wanted to wait until the new board member to sworn in, and get on the work gloves and go to work. So this is the day. Thank you for picking the through places to honor our new board member to sworn in here, and our judge, Chief Charlie Long Sr. 那开单时我生活事情，给按的是知道，给按的是那的。我记得那一下是你的。I don't know the house about 10 miles, coolest day. Back in 1941 or 42, I walked to school from Coolidge to the old Coolidge. That's about 3 miles. There was a railroad, they called it South Guam. That's what the schoolhouse was. And the other railroad, on the north side, they call it North Guam. So that's where the school was beginning back in the early days. And the old 66 highway was on that railroad, alongside the railroad. And I remember 25 miles an hour, the chippy was going by that schoolhouse. I don't see no 18-wheeler or big trucks zoom back and forth. So that's the day you should remember. I'm sure Sarup Lagana was still right here, the railroad, and they have some school here. And us, the Navajo, we were out on the mountain and nobody has a vehicle at those days. We had wagon and horses, a lot of sheep. There was about a few homes that time. Now we have so many, it changed over 80 years. Yeah, thank you. Just to give you a little area that I see every day. Over at the bridge where I live, the side of that wash. Why and how are we going to tackle that? The bus won't go through on top of that bridge. We, the Saru community, back in the mid-60s, we decided to give 100 acres of the tribal land for to build a high school. I was so young that time, and I worked there. We started a high school from here, and we built a high school over there, which is now, it's a mid school. So I remember a lot of things. Me and my wife, we have 8 children. 8 is enough. Out of 8 children, we have 18 grandkids. They all went to here elementary, mid school, and the high school. They all graduated. Out of the 18 grandkids, we have 20 great-great-grandkids. Some are still here, go to school here. In Gallup, in California, Albuquerque, Oklahoma, and New York. That's how stretched our family is. So is this the parents that they spoke here. They have family across the nation. So thank you for listening what I'm trying to say. Fix that bridge so our children can go across the bridge instead of we bring the children back on this side of the bridge. We want that. And it's kind of like frustrated where they drop off the children. In the mud, the water's about this high. There's a hole there, a little lake, and another one over here. That's where they drop off the kids. At least put some gravel or make a nice turnaround for the kids to get off. So that's where we put out our great-great grandkids. We need that as soon as possible. That's my request. The other thing, I work with the Navajo Preparatory School for 26 years now as a board member. It's so unique. It was a mission school and Navajo Academy. Now it's Navajo Prep. And we do have IB diploma programs in our school. It's the nation across. It's unique. We give 100% scholarship. And that's what we want the McKinley County to do that. Let's focus on education. When you, school board members, say, "She away," because you were children one time, you were a little baby. What did your mom say? What did your daddy say to you? You're so pretty. I love you. I care for you. That's how you were raised. That's how I was raised. So think about that in terms of all the schools in McKinley County. Love the children. I don't like to see the front page about what's going on. What I'm saying is, it's after New Year. We don't want the trash last year we had into this new year. Let's have it nice and love our children, teach our children. We have all dedicated teachers. I know each one of them because I work here and I work at the high school, the beginning of when we built that school. So that's why I'm saying to you, thank you so much. Somebody called me and says, "You're going sworn in over here at the roof. Shouldn't stay alone." I said, "Okay." Don't say it to me again. I will come next round. We love you because we're old. You guys still young. Say it to our children, especially from the preschool, elementary, mid school, high school, and to college. Because that's what I do over at Navajo Prep. They go to college. We visit them. It's all over the world. Okay, thank you. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Great grandson.
Next we have Ms. Anita Benali, our chapter president for Theru chapter. Thank you so much, Ms. Benali, for coming this evening.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for the Rue Elementary School for hosting the Gallup McKinley County School Board meeting here. And it's great to see all of you here. And if you haven't been to the Rue, welcome to the Rue. We have a population of over 3,000 here, and the majority of them are our own children, our own Native people. So welcome. Yat ein kidishni olish koro shidene kwasa no sinigi. Yeah, koron kachin every so zinigi by and I'd like to thank all of you for being here, supporting our children that are attending our local schools here. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. I have to write this down because I'm not going to remember. My name is Anita Benali. I'm currently the Ru Chapter President. I just started in January, so I'm on my 3rd month. Tsunajini shno e yaha zert kahne bashish chin arot fachini dash masando dash chedo todekonje dash nale akut o e yaha stanche. And first of all, that was my plan. This place brings back a lot of memories for me. My children all went to school here. I have 4 children. My oldest is Mateka. She went to school here. Graduated from here, went to the mid-school, graduated there, and went to the high school. And she's currently living in New York. She's a United States Marine Corps veteran. She works with the state of New Mexico Veteran Services out there. And when I came in, I was like thinking back, wow, my children went to school here, and they're not here with me. They're not living here at the Ru. My oldest son went to school here. His name is Tyson Jim. And he went to the mid-school and high school. He's currently going to school in Hawaii. He lives out there. My other son, Carlos, went to school here as well, to mid-school and high school. He's working here in Gallup. And my youngest son, Rico, he went to school here. He went to mid-school and graduated from Through High. He's currently in active duty with the United States Marine Corps. He's stationed out at 29 Palms. He'll be back next week for 2 weeks, and then he'll be out for his 2nd deployment. So my children did really good, and I thank the teachers. You know, all our teachers worked hard here, and I thank each one of them. It takes a lot to do a lesson plan and try to present it to our students. I'd like to address this to our parents, for some of the parents that are here. I wish all of our parents were here. It's all up to the parents to encourage your students to come to class and listen to the teachers. It's really hard to do that when there's one teacher trying to talk to like 15 to 20 students here. And us parents, we really need to encourage our children to attend school every day. Not just to check them out the first of the month or when it's income tax season. A lot of parents come to the school and start checking out their students just to hang out with them. And their students are missing out on education, the important part of education here. We just got done with our parks testing, and now we're starting the TLI testing. Where are all our children? They're home, playing video games, going to mom's appointment, not doing anything out there. We need to stop doing that. We need to stop taking our children out for those kind of little field trips. And I strongly encourage our parents that they need to keep their students in school. One of the Navajo teachings is, finish your education and come back and help your people. And our children can't do that if we keep pulling them out of class. So that's one of the things that I noticed that, a lot of parents are doing. And we see them out there too. It's sad. So as leaders, Charlie Long, myself, Percy here, Mr. Long, all you guys, they'll represent our children. I don't like to see the bad things that's going on. I want to look forward into the future and think, hey, our children are going to be out there somewhere. They're going to come back and they're going to help teach our little ones here. I just heard the young lady here saying that it's really hard to recruit teachers. That is true. We see that all across the reservation. When we put our profile on the website, they think that Peru is going to be a big town with hotels, and there's a lot of activities going on out here. It's not like that. When they come out here, they're disappointed. They don't see those things. Sometimes I think that's the reason why they leave us. But some of them we're very fortunate. Some of them are still here. And it takes a lot for them to still hang on to our children here, teach them. They might not get a good pay, but they're still here because they love our children. I have a lot of respect for our teachers, and I think we all need to do that. They work hard. And I was so glad that when the bonus came around, I was so happy that, you know, everybody got it. Better than nothing, right? That helped, so I'm glad you guys thought about us, you know. I'm glad you guys all did. And I really thank Percy for coming out to our chapter and reporting to our people every month. She talks to our parents at the community level. And we're very thankful that she's representing Peru, and not only Peru, but other communities as well. So, and I really encourage that all of you stick by them, help them. If something's wrong, let them know so they'll be able to fix it and move forward. Our leaders once said, education is the ladder. We need to go up that ladder. We need to encourage our children to go up that ladder and extend that ladder. I know Walmart sells extension on their ladders, so we can extend those ladders. So I'm really thankful that you guys are all here, and I'm glad that you guys are doing a great job here in Peru, so I thank all the teachers as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, Ms. Benali, thank you very much. Can I please request all our educators and our staff here, Peru Elementary, mid-school, and high school, to please stand so we can honor you with some applause. Ashwade. I know that I see several of you guys here. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Ms. Short, thank you, Principal from Peru Mid-School. Mr. Sina, thank you, Principal from Peru High. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We're going to go ahead and give a couple of minutes to our new board members since they just got sworn in. They just wanted to say hi to you all, and I'll pass the mic on to them.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's good to see everybody here. And Brian, I haven't seen you in a long time. But he's very busy, I know that. He's with Congressman Lujan. And then, of course, I want to recognize our principal from Crown Point Mid. Michael, can you stand, please? First time I met him, I was trying to pronounce his last name. I said cutie cup, but I guess it's Kubaka. Well, yele, koyate da sortido, jenko adeda sortinka. Do ashin sobashin das tidani, koiba ahimitzen. Ko ashina so indes nishtoles nitnijen. Hajusto nani katoles nitnijeshin. There's no such thing as a retreat in the Marine Corps. So just want to thank everybody that's here this evening. I think it's going to be an effort on everybody to move the school district forward, There's a lot of aspirations that we have as new board members. But one of the things that's key is that we hope to achieve a point where students, when they graduate, that they will exceed all requirements. Thank you.
I don't speak as eloquently as Mr. Long, but I want to make sure and tell everybody here, thank you very much for your support. We appreciate you coming out and taking part in the education of our children. I have kids in the school district as well as being a product of the school district, and so I feel a certain kinship to each of you who have children in the school district as well. I look forward to working with you in the future and seeing what we can do to help our kids achieve all their own personal dreams and aspirations and help them to be successful in whatever endeavors they have in their life. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting us here at Peru. Glad to be here. It's an honor to be here. I hope I live up to your expectations to improve the school district, and thank you again for hosting us.
Thank you, Mr. Hitteman, our former board member. Thank you for joining us this evening, too. It's nice to see you still continuing to advocate and be with us. I also like to recognize Mr. Leonard Perry from Crown Point Chapter. He's the vice president over there. Thank you, sir, for coming. Moving on, we're going to move to 3, closed executive session, limited to personnel matters related to discussion on the previous employment and buyout of the employment contract of the superintendent as permitted under Section 1015(1)(h)(2) of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, and communications with legal counsel regarding pending and threatening litigation regarding threats of lawsuit from superintendent, a discussion of potential OMA claims against the board as permitted under Section 1015(1)(h)(7) of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to move into executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Roll call.
Mr. Martinson?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Schaff?
Yes.
Ms. Manuelito?
Yes.
505.
I like those. Fixer upper. I like these. It's cool to get ideas. See a place that's just like interior, it's dilapidated, and then it's like
So I have to sign this, just saying that I got it.
Just saying that you received it, and then we have that for when they start certification. They want to be sure I'm doing my due diligence, giving it to you.
Thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
Let's just sign it here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was the end. Thank you, everybody that are still here waiting on us. I'll go ahead and request to exit out.
Motion to exit.
Thank you. Motion made by Mr. Mitchell to exit out of executive session. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mortensen?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Manuelito?
Yes.
7:05.
Wow, we went in at 5:05. What was discussed in executive session was the limited personnel matters related to discussion of the previous employment and buyout of the employment contract with superintendent under that law, the Open Meetings Act. Also, the communication with legal counsel regarding pending threatening litigation regarding the lawsuit from the superintendent. Again, under that law, no other action was taken, and no other discussion was discussed in executive session. Sorry. So we'll go ahead and move forward to 4, approval of minutes. We have the February 13, 2017 special meeting.
Motion to approve the February special meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Mr. Mitchell, any other questions or? Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Mortensen?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Abstain.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Manuelito?
Yes. Next, we have the February 21st, 2017 meeting. Wishes of the board?
Motion to approve the minutes of February 21st.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell, for your motion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mortensen?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Abstain.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Manuelito?
Yes. Thank you very much. Number 5, approval of consent item agenda. I do have a question on this. Which one was it? What is image learning training? Imagine learning training, I'm sorry.
Rachel, imagine learning training from Navajo Elementary, Navajo.
Thank you, members of the board. Imagine Learning is a software program for ELL learners, English language learners, and they're being piloted at K-5 at Navajo Elementary. And since Ms. Spencer is a Title III coordinator, she's going to be going with Ms. Watchman to that conference.
Any other questions on the consent item agenda? Board members, just to let you know, we do have one on here for the board to be going to the regional meeting on April 5th. With the Region 1 meeting will be in Bloomfield. If you're able to attend, please inform Joan that you'll be attending that Region 1 meeting. 5 p.m.? You'll be from 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. Sorry, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Okay. Any other questions? Did you guys have any questions? Okay. Can I entertain a motion? Mr. Mitchell? Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Roll call?
Mr. Mortensen?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Manuelito?
Yes, thank you. Here you go.
Madam President, Board of Education, tonight we do not have any recognitions. We have postponed those to the next meeting due to time constraints for this evening. But I do want to touch on a few items for the superintendent's report. I did provide you some information, but I want to touch on a little bit about the legislative session. First of all, this last week I was pretty busy. I was in Santa Fe 3 times to help support and testify on behalf of House Bill 541, which was sponsored by Representative Lundstrom. On Saturday, this particular bill was tabled by 1 vote. But Representative Lundstrom was very supportive in advocating and supporting this bill. I think anytime we were able to have a bill heard in committee, that we're able to explain more to the state of New Mexico about our position as a school district, especially when it comes to funding. In addition, Senate Joint Memorial number 27, having to do with capital outlay funding and the study of that particular topic in New Mexico, which was sponsored by Senator Vinos. It also did not pass the Senate Ed Committee this last Friday. But again, it brought up a good discussion about the position that Gallup McKinley County Schools is in with respect to how the state funds property-rich districts compared to us as one of the property-poor districts in New Mexico. And then also a very important bill, or a couple bills that are out there that were talked about tonight even, and that has to do with the transportation and the ability of school district to use Suburbans, which in our case as a school district, if we were able to use Suburbans to transport students, we would be able to cross the bridges, the 117 bridges in fact, in Gallup McKinley County schools that are unpassable by a school bus, whether that's a large school bus or a small. So we were fortunate to be able to testify with Representative Gallegos on House Bill 392 this last Saturday as it passed the House Education Committee. And I believe on the Senate side, that bill, there's a duplicate bill that's also moving through the Senate at this time. I know the House bill will be heard soon from the Transportation Committee in the near future. So we are an advocate for that bill, along with the Navajo Nation and other districts across the state that want to become more efficient with our funding. And so Suburbans would drastically help us. The last couple of things, or the last one I wanted to touch on today, which is important for Thoreau. I think it was 23 years ago, I drove into Thoreau with my wife. She became a teacher at Thoreau Elementary. And I remember looking at the school thinking, wow, Thoreau needs a new elementary. And so that is actually coming to fruition. We actually have the design almost complete. I believe Mr. Triplehorn, we're just trying to manipulate the library a little bit. And so we will be going out for bid likely this summer for Thoreau Elementary. In the late winter or early winter, we will actually likely be able to seek funding from the state and start construction thereafter. So it's a positive thing for this community. So it seems like a long ways away, but it'll come quick. This school should be completed in 2019, either early on in the spring or in the summertime. So this school needs to be torn down and rebuilt, and so we're excited for the Thoreau community in that respect. And just I want to touch on another school. Del Norte is completed. We're waiting on fire inspection, I believe. And so we're going through the process of determining when we can move into that new school. And again, that Del Norte is a combination of Oñate Elementary and Washington Elementary into one larger high school. It'll actually be our first two-story elementary in the school district, which will be interesting. So that is all I have for this evening, Madam President and School Board. So I'll turn the time back over to you.
So the Del Norte, when it's completed, we'll do the dedication?
Correct. We'll have a dedication for Del Norte. That has not been scheduled yet. Again, we're trying to figure out how move-in time affects park testing time, which is coming up quickly. And so we'll either move in before park testing, hopefully, but if not, it could even end up being the first part of right when school gets out, just to make sure that we don't affect learning in the classroom. So we'll definitely be in there by next year, but right now we're trying to figure out when we'll do the dedication and when we'll have students move in. Any other questions?
Just thank you very much for the hard work of staff and Mr. Triplehorn and Mr. Gepetti, and also to you, Mr. Hyatt, for helping get this through elementary school for our children here. We're very excited, and I know it's been brought up a couple of times at the chapter meetings with the constituents that are anxiously waiting for this, and I thank you for the update. I'll be passing that along to the chapter. I think Sunday we have a chapter meeting. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it, but I will put something in writing for the board, the officials. The other thing I want to say is I really want to say thank you to our legislative team, to yourself, Mr. Hyatt, to Giovanna, continuing to be in Santa Fe for testifying, for our school board, our district and our school board at times, and just continuing to be the voice for our children there with all these bills, and also to our lobbyists that are there. That if you guys see all the emails, they're constantly emailing us reports, and she did send us another report that I made copies for you guys too. So very thankful of the teamwork, our legislators that are continuing to advocate for the school district, Munoz, Alcone, Lundstrom, Johnson, Garcia, and other legislators that are not even in our district that are in the same boat as we are. So thank you to all of them. I just wanted to publicly say that to our bodies that are helping our children in Santa Fe. And Shendo, yes, Shendo, thank you very much. So moving on, we have, no.
board retreat. Again, board members, this is something that I wanted to discuss with the board members to see if this is something that you guys will be interested in. It was a discussion item at the we kind of brought it up as an agenda item last board meeting to start getting some information together for the new board members and giving you guys any feedback on the budget, on policy, on just a variety of areas that we wanted to discuss with you. Is that something that you think you guys would be interested in doing? Is there a specific date or time? Because I think if we put something down, we can make a tentative date for this board retreat. Would you like the first week of April or the second week? There's not the first week? Okay, Mike says no. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Or why don't you guys email me or email us some dates and see when you guys are available, and then we'll see when everybody, and include the time so we can work on that retreat for the board, or any other additional information you may need that would help with the retreat. That would be helpful too. The other, number 3, any other questions on that? On board retreat at this time? Okay. Notices and communication, March 20th through the 24th, we have the spring break. March 25th through the 27th is the New Mexico National School Board Association Conference. April 3rd is another board meeting for us. April 5th is a Region 1 meeting in Bloomfield. April 17th, the board meeting in Navajo Mid at 4 p.m. April 28th is the Navajo Sovereignty Day. We have no school.
Madam President, School Board, I want to add 3 items which I made you aware of today, but I want to make sure the community knows. We had 3 girls basketball teams that made the state playoffs, or actually more than that made it, but 3 that progressed and play tomorrow. We have the Navajo Pine that is going to play tomorrow at Bernalillo High School at 8:15 p.m. They're ranked number 7 in the state right now, playing number 2 Logan. In 3A, number 3 Tehachapi girls versus number 6 Tucumcari at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning at the Santa Ana Star Center in Albuquerque. And then we have one more game. 5A girls, number 11 ranked Gallup versus number 3 Espanola at 8:15 p.m. at the Albuquerque Pit, Wise Pies, whatever they call it these days. It's the Pit to me. So I just want to make sure that we were aware of those dates and times.
Thank you. Congratulations to making it to state, ladies. Is it all ladies, right? Okay, moving on to H. Everything else is agenda items. Approval of updated graduation requirements for Board of Education graduation policy. I-7350 IKF.
Madam President, Board of Education, I'm going to time over to Dr. White, who will give an update on this policy.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde. Members of the board, what you have in your packet is graduation requirements from our school policy. And if you look at that, Several years ago, it was updated to reflect the classes of 2014, 2015, and 2016. And those requirements are still in the packet, so we're updating that, deleting all of that there, and then making sure that starting with the graduating class of 2017 and all graduating classes thereafter have the correct credit amounts. What you have in your packet is number 1 is a strike through. Talked about the classes of 2014, 15, and 16. So we're going to delete that. Number 2, we've also deleted the 1/2 credit. According to our New Mexico policy, we only need 24 credits, and that's what we've been working with. So those are the only changes on the first part. And then on page 2, we have the graduation course requirements as presented by New Mexico Public Education Department, and it's taken word for word on that one, and it distributes how those 24 units are counted. And then on the following page, it just has the manual, just to put the insertion of the dates. And then you also have in your packet, district approved ADC's alternative demonstration of competencies based on the requirements. This is what we already has been approved before, and it's a 1-pager. So in case students do not pass the test, the tests and the attempts, there is an alternative way that they can earn a diploma, and those are listed right there. And these do not change. And then the last page that you have in there is the employment performance rubric for high schools, and those are in case there's a student working and he or she can earn some credits based on their work that they're doing. So basically we're just getting rid of the 24.5 to make it 24 and make it consistent.
Thank you, Pauletta. Questions? Then I will. Yes.
This basically just aligns it with New Mexico education requirements, aligns our policies with theirs.
With that, do I have a motion?
Changes made, I make the motion that we approve.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mortensen?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Manuelito?
Yes. Moving on to I. Adoption of resolution to grant a waiver for board member participation in the procurement of services of Williams Plumbing and Gallup Plumbing Service to conduct business with the district. This is an action item.
Madam President, this happens all the time where we have what's called a related party in the school district that potentially is a vendor or is going to possibly become a vendor. In this particular case, it's a little bit more unique in that this is referenced William Plumbing, which is a related party to board member Mr. Mortensen. And so I have Giovanni here to give a little bit more information with respect to the procurement process when we have these kinds of situations arise. And so then we'll be able to answer questions also.
Madam President, members of the board, members of the audience, one of the requirements within the procurement process to facilitate this type of transaction is to publicly disclose at a board meeting the relationship, and also to identify that the competitive rates and services that are available are of benefit to the district. And so it is within the procurement code for us to allow a waiver for these type of activities to occur. There is within the document the information that these services will be procured through competitive solicitation, and that Mr. Mortensen, as a primary beneficiary of that entity, would abstain from any action regarding anything to do with those contracts. Yes, ma'am.
When do these contracts end? I know.
Sorry.
I know. Slow down.
Me and the microphone are not getting along. So there is a current on-call contract For plumbing services through November, there was a competitive solicitation issued on November 2016. And so there are actually two items in front of you, one item I and one item J. Item I is to state that because this entity is of benefit to the district to provide competitive services at reasonable rates, that we would be able to include them in ongoing solicitations. The other one is an acknowledgement that Mr. Mortensen currently has an award with the district, and that was done prior to him being awarded, even running or being elected to the board.
When you say abstain from action, what exactly does that mean?
So, Mr. Mortensen, you would not vote on either of these resolutions this evening, and when those competitive solicitations were presented for approval to the board, you would abstain from those voting sessions as well.
We have I and J. Can we combine the two, and if we're going to approve or not approve both of them at the same time?
So what I would recommend is leaving them as separate documents, I being the future potential services and J being the currently awarded contract. Within the procurement code, there are certain steps that have to be taken in order for this to transpire. And again, as Mr. Hyatt referenced, McKinley County is a small community, so there are going to be circumstances where members are employees or friends or sit on boards. So it's important that we are transparent about these types of activities, but we have to understand they're an absolute reality.
Madam President, the board, I also ask that they're done separately, just to be transparent about the past versus the future. Okay. So I actually asked for that.
Thank you. If there's no additional questions.
I guess one question I had is, has this been done with other board members before that we had to do these waivers, and who were the entities?
So typically we discuss related parties, not necessarily a unique situation like this where we actually have a board member. But I will say one of the areas that's been identified previously was when Mr. Manini provided vending services to different schools throughout the district. So that was a previous situation. But we always fully disclose that, and it was always disclosed in all of our audits, as this will be.
What was the services?
It was vending.
Vending? Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead.
Is there any rules about like maybe a dollar threshold or anything like that where this type of a contract would need to be suspended or anything like that having to do with like if you spend X amount or we're going to suspend the contract and look for somebody else or is there anything like that?
So the provision is that it must be obtained. It must be obtained through competitive solicitation. That is a requirement for the full transparency.
Any other questions, board members? I think I would just like to say that I think that this is, especially the 19J that is already in motion, and we're already have that bid that was granted. I think I don't see no reason to not approve it. Yeah.
Okay, going back to President Manlita was saying, I think Jay, the procurement that's already taking place at this time would not be of any interference at this time, since Mr. Christensen was not on the board at the time that this was put through and approved. So that one, I don't think we have a problem with that. And then for future, as long as everything is done properly, then it should be okay as well. There's a waiver. So, so at this time, I go ahead and make a motion. Okay, so at this time I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve 9I for the for resolution regarding waiver for board member participation in procurement process.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Manuelito?
Okay, yes.
I didn't call his name.
But do we need it for the record that he abstained?
Yes. He doesn't have the same, okay, because if we abstain, that's what it's.
Oh, okay. Clarification, thank you. Moving on to the next one, Jay.
Okay, since,
From the board.
okay, on this one, I think we already said that, it's not a problem at this point, so I'll motion to approve 9J at this time for resolution regarding board member to continue participation in procurement process. Yeah, they're both listed on here. We only have Giovanna?
Yes, sir.
There's only one listed on J, and it doesn't include the pumping service.
Yeah, same LLC,
Does that have to be,
It's, same services with the same company, it's just two different services, so it doesn't have to be delineated from what I understand.
but I think that, are they separate solicitation though?
I don't believe the other one is.
It's still the same.
Yeah.
Okay, that was Mr. Christensen's question. I mean, Mr. Ward's question. Sorry.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Manuelito?
Yes. Oh, shoot, wrong one. Thank you, board members. And last item, number 10, adjourn. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shaw?
Mortensen?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Manuelito?
Yes.